is that many of the stories come from the mythology, mythology from Greek, Roman mythology, from Persian mythology, and one of them is to fight curiosity. The idea is to fight curiosity. Even in one of the books of the Bible, I think Sarah or a lady is they are escaping from one of the plagues, and they tell her, "Don't turn around, even if you listen to noises, thunders, yellings, all kinds of noises. Don't turn around, or you will be converted into salt." And I think Sarah was given that command. I don't remember if it was Sarah, one of the biblical figures. And then she turned around and she became converted in a stone of salt. Remember that story?
Mm, uh,
No?
just a little bit sure. I don't know if I saw in a. It was like a series, but but yeah, it was about the Bible. I don't know exactly the name now, but yeah, I think that was an order that she didn't need to turn around, and she did it. I think so, right?
Exactly, exactly. And she
Hmm.
became a stone of salt. And, and that reminds me a lot this Bluebeard story, which the stories are taken
Yeah.
from mythology or from older stories, right?
Hmm.
And well, in this case, I think what Mitch and what you say is very important and is very true. Some of these stories are made to teach society, to teach children a lesson, right? The purpose: teach children a lesson. Um, what do you think of these methods of teaching children through fables? Remember the fables, Aesop fables, Fábulas de Sopo, fables, fairy tales, etc. What do you think of this method, Mitch, Mickey?
Um,
Mm, it is really good way and interactive to teach lessons to children because, well, children tend to be more attracted with full colors, bright colors, and animated characters, and they tend to pay more attention to it. Then they going to they want to follow them in some way, and they're going to learn easily.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Thank you. What are some of the lessons or commands that you remember from short tales or short stories or fairy tales, Mickey, Mitch?
mm, well, I remembered a fable. I don't know the name, but it was from a kid that was the um, manager. How do you say el encargado?
He was in charge.
Yeah, he was in charge of some ships,
Oh, yes.
and he was a little bit liar because sometimes he did some this word jokes to the people, and one day he lost the ships and nobody believes him, and that was a lesson that you don't need
Yeah,
to lie.
exactly. I think the story, if I'm right, is Peter and the Wolf.
Yeah,
I think this is it. Can you
let
look
me
it up
search it.
and maybe
Uh-huh.
check the summary, please, really quick? Peter and the Wolf. I believe that's the story. Do you remember the story? Peter and the Wolf.
No, no.
Let's look it up. Let's see if you find it in it. I remember the story really because my mom used to tell us the story over and over and over and over. And the lesson was, of course, don't lie, right? Never lie because people will lose trust and they will not believe you when in reality you really need it. So that was the moral of the story.
Yeah, I think that is the story of Peter and the Wolf. Was the moral?
Yes. Okay. Did you? Can you? Please share it.
Mm, or not, teacher? I don't think so. I'm looking the summary of Peter and the Wolf, and the moral says here that you can't be a hero if you don't take risks. So, and the moral of
Oh,
the other story is that you don't need
maybe it's
to
not
lie.
it.
No, I think that in Spanish
Yeah,
is
okay.
el pastorcito mentiroso or something like that.
Okay, here is a Pedro y el Lobo fábula. Fábula. Or maybe we need to put fable. I think I found llamado responsable con su oveja. This is it. Pedro y el Lobo fable. Maybe
Mm,
Pedro and the Wolf fable. And the Wolf fable, maybe. Fable. Or let's see. I don't know. Let me see. Maybe Pedro and the Wolf. Okay. No, it's not. You're right. It's another one.
um,
Okay.
I found here that is called The Boy Who Cried Wolf is the name of the fable that I think.
Okay. The boy wolf.
Cried
Yeah,
Wolf.
exactly. That's it. Book by Aesop. Perfect. You wanna
Mhm.
share it, Mickey, please?
Yeah, a summary, right?
Yes, please. Yes, something brief.
Mm, this is a video that let me search again.
Okay. The boy who cried wolf. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. Let's see. Okay, you're sharing now. Great. Yeah, it's here. Okay. You wanna go ahead and read it, Mickey, please.
This is your. Once upon a time, there lived a sheep-herd boy who took care of the sheep in the village. He was very dedicated to his work. Every day, he used to take the herd of sheep to the top of the hill and bring them down by evening. But one day, he felt really bored. I'm feeling so bored. All the villagers work together, but here I am all alone taking care of the sheep and no one else to talk to. What should I do? Thought the shepherd boy. Hmm. Suddenly he had an idea. A weird one. He went over the edge of the hills and started shouting, "Help! Help! There is a wolf! He's gonna eat all our sheep! Help!" Hearing the boy crying out for help, all the villagers came to the top of the hill to save the sheep. But reaching there, all they could see were calm sheep grazing the grassland. "You silly boy, where is the wolf? Why did you cry out for help?" asked one of the villagers humbly. The villagers were very angry and left the place cursing the shepherd boy. "This is so much fun," laughed the shepherd boy. Next day, the shepherd boy was back again to the routine of taking the sheep for grazing, and yet again he found himself completely bored. "Let's try that prank again," the shepherd boy thought to himself. The boy again went up to the hilltop and started shouting, "Help! Help! There's a wolf! He's gonna eat all our sheep!" Once again all the villagers, after hearing the boy crying out, ran to save the sheep, but once again came back after being fooled by the boy. "This is not right. You will have to pay for this one day," said an old man with no regrets on his face. The shepherd boy went back to his sheep. Mitch continues or continue?
Yes,
Yes.
continue, Mitch, please. Yes, Mitch, please.
By the way, I already remember this story. Okay.
You already remember,
Um.
right? Yes, that's a
Yes.
classic.
One day, when he was lying under the tree while his sleep were rising, he saw some sheep running here and there. After looking closely, she saw a wolf approaching the herd. The boy suddenly ran into the edge of the hill and started screaming for help. Help, help! There's a wolf! For real this time! He's gonna eat all our sheep! Shouted the boy. This time the village didn't pay any attention to the boy screaming. Also, read the thoughts and the goat story. Ah, caray. One of the men said, let's leave him. This time to be he might be playing a prank on us. The boy kept on crying for help, but no one turned it off this time. All he could do was stand there and watch his sheep getting killed by the wolf. Oh, I should have not played the prank with the villagers. Nobody believed me when the wolf actually turned up. What should I do now? I have lost all my sheep, cried the shepherd boy. The shepherd boy was never trusted by anyone. Moral, liars are not believing even when they speak the truth.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah, I truly enjoy stories. How did you feel when you do you remember the story, Mickey? Mitch?
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, I saw the story
How did you
in
feel when
Discovery
you
Kids. That's why I remembered.
or you did? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you first saw the story or when your parents told you at night when you were in bed, like it was my case? How was your feeling back then? Remember?
Mm,
what a dumb kid.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it taught you a lesson, didn't it?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. How about you, Mickey? When you watched the story, how was you feeling then?
Mm, I th- I think that I felt a little bit sad for him at the end, but at the same time it was like, well, but you made a mistake, so that's the result. No, I don't remember pretty well, but something
Yeah.
like
That's
that.
what you want.
Say that again, Mitch. Thank you, Mickey.
Yeah.
What was
That's
that,
that's
Mitch?
what you want.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you got. That's what you want for lying. Well, thank you very much. These stories teach a lesson are the same actually that uh, based on your behavior, on our behavior, right? If you see all the religious books are the same, they talk about good and bad. All the philosophy is based on good and bad. The teachings, everything, most of the things are based on good and bad. In recent times, uh, and they put pleasure both is the good and bad like a universal value. Uh, but however, some of the values have evolved. This is either, but which values do you think are still persistent, and which ones are new or novel? Because there's values, which is one of the comments that we were discussing today in the meeting at the school. Values which are persistent or which persist and which have evolved. Which values have evolved, Mitch, that you have seen?
E- Evolve? You mean
Yeah,
evolucionar? Mm.
there's yeah,
Sorry, teacher, you were glitching.
evolution.
Mm.
Remember.
Uh, sorry, teacher, you were glitching.
Okay. The question is which value from our grandparents, from our parents, or from decades or centuries ago from older generations still persist, and which values have changed, have evolved? Mitch, if you remember,
Mm,
things that
I
used to be
think
good before and now they're bad, or things that used to be bad.
the value of respect has evolved, and for example, the respect of the women that the other ages I think tend to be so sexist. Also evolved the part of no discrimination or racism in some countries. What more? Mm, I think the one of the empathy. I don't know if we say involve or the contrary. That persists. It doesn't come to my mind so many.
Okay. Okay. Very important. Women has evolved, has increased or decreased? Obviously, I think has increased, right?
Yes.
Is that correct? No discrimination. Uh, you're talking about racial discrimination, right? Racial. Okay. And empathy. Empathy
Discrimination in
has
general, I
increased or
think.
has evolved. Racial. What else? Besides race, what else can be people discriminated about?
Um,
Mm, for
the
their sex,
customs, the religion, the sexuality,
for their
the
preferences,
preferences, the country, the races,
the religion.
the religion. Mhm.
Religion. You think people are discriminated due to their social status or not? Oh, he's
Yeah.
Yes.
poor. Oh, don't talk to him or don't talk to her. He's poor. Oh no, that's not my. Have you
Usually
seen that?
not literally like that, but people tend not always in bad intention, but they say, "Oh no, they poor. They probably don't know so many things. They are probably dumb because they don't have internet and something like that." Maybe it's not the worst intention, but it comes of the discrimination. Could comes.
Okay. So very good. Okay. So this has evolved. This has suffered an evolution. You're saying that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Very. And you agree. And you agree, Mickey, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're talking about religion preferences. What kind of preferences? Like gender
Mm,
preferences or what?
yeah. Gender preferences.
Mhm.
Gender. Gender preferences. Social status. You said country of origin, religion, and no, religion is twice. Is this complete more or less? Yes, right? Okay, very interesting. And now we reach. This is just besides making more comments. Is this enough? I mean, have you seen the country totally balanced, totally perfect, totally um, organized? This evolution? Are we completely evolved? Because I
No.
seem to see still some discrimination behaviors in people.
hmm No, I don't
We have
think so.
made
I think
progress,
that
but not enough. What do you think?
yeah. Well, like everything, there are in some cases unevolved, but in other cases we still in the same part of the journey. Or in other cases we are worse than before. So now I think that we have so many things to evolve.
However, Mitch, you say that there's been evolution regarding respect, no discrimination. There is more empathy, or at least people are more conscious. People are more conscious of the importance of having empathy, of having respect for women, and in general. Do you think minorities in general, right? Minorities,
Mm,
or at least yes, yes. What do you think, Mitch?
yes. Well, it's weird. Well, about minorities, of course, the respectful increased, fortunately. Um, but I don't know. Maybe for men, in some cases, it's it's weird. Sorry. For example, if a women do something and the men do exactly the same thing, the society tend to punish more hardly to the men than the women, even if it is the same bad action. Um, well, I think there is not.
Really, that's very. Can you,
For example, in Spain, if a man do a crime, the government put him more years in jail than women that did the same crime. It's really weird.
um, what about this, Mickey? If you commit a crime in Spain, the punishment is harsher, is more strict, is harder for you than for
Mm,
women. What do you think about this?
mm, well, obviously, something bad and it's something that is
Mhm.
that it's unfair because if you are making the same crime than the other person, obviously the same uh, you must have the same punishment or the same sentence that the other person. Doesn't matter if it's a woman or if it's a man. I don't know.
Okay. Yes. I remember when I was a kid, my education was pretty strict in many items, very conventional too.
Hmm.
I remember it was not my mom, my aunts, my grandma, all the female members of the family used to tell us, uh, "Boys don't cry." So you
Mhm.
could be raging, or you could be furious, or you could be very upset. You feel that there was an abuse, that the other kid was getting more candies, or was getting more attention, or more affection, or more time, or more whatever. But if you started to cry, then you got a good spanking. Boys don't
I
cry.
never
One, two,
understand
three.
that. I
Yeah.
never understand that. Why? Why? They said that they could look weak, but there is something bad to look weak. You mean is being weak and sometimes is something human. I never understand that. At least, still in the current times, that I still hear some old women that say, "Boys don't cry," but why? Why? Cry is so relaxing sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, yeah, and it's a human attitude. Well, I don't know if it's only human or animal. Animals cry too, right?
Yeah.
Or animals don't cry. Yeah, animals also cry.
Yes.
So it's a natural condition to cry. Um, yeah, but they told us that. Me and my five brothers and my cousins, all my generation, all my not my classmates, my friends, everybody, boys don't cry because they thought that crying was a sign of weakness, and it's not true because actually now the psychologists, the doctors, the physicians, everyone tell you, yeah, you need to cry to relieve your pains, your sorrows, and this and that heals your soul, right? Actually, so but this was the old belief that boys don't cry. So yeah, society at times was more severe with men than with women. Sometimes, not always.
Hmm.
In what
Yeah.
situations you think, Mickey, society is harsher or more strict with women than with men? In what situations? So, when is
Well, probably in
society
the is more generalized that women do the clean of the house or cook the food of in the house, like the domestic tasks. I don't know how to say it. Um, yeah, the domestic
house
activities.
chores? Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, domestic. Okay, house. Let's
And
call them
sometimes
house chores. House
house.
chores.
Are you sharing, teacher? Sorry.
Ah, I'm sorry, I'm not. Let me share here. Uh, yeah, in the house. In this case, women with right with harsh chores. But that's a, I mean, it has an explanation. What is the explanation for this, Mitch? Why women were in the past given the house chores? Why was this agreement,
Mm,
social agreement?
I understand that in the early ages, since in the ice ages, the men and women tend to cazar, hunt,
Hunted, hunted.
hunted the animals to progressing and eat, but they realize that the women is the one that creates new lives. Then the men wants to protect them instead to still create more life and not extinguish the human race. In that was involving in all the human history that think no, we have to protect the women because they are the ones who create life. Um, and that message that at the first sight could sound very cute and considerate because they want to preserve the human race. Now that we are so many in the world that it's not already necessary, and the men's women has the almost the same possibilities, except of course the biological ones. But yeah, I think it is something. How can I say arraigado?
Rooted, rooted. It's
Yes,
very
rooted to
rooted,
that.
very rooted.
Rooted to that. Yes.
I totally agree. However, there is a little difference. However, yes, sin embargo, however, there is a little digression or a little comment or exception that I would like to mention. What happens at work, Mickey, when a woman is pregnant, when a woman is expecting a baby and she's in the last 3 months, when she's really at danger if she has any risky situation? What does society want to do? Well, like Mitch says, preserve life. How do you
Hmm.
preserve the life of a baby? Well, taking care of the woman. That is, you give maternity leave at work. What
Yeah.
do you think about this, Mitch?
Mm, well, I think that it's something that it's fair because obviously if you are wedding well, if you're wedding your baby or something like that, um, you must be taking care of it, and it's not the same to work all day and you don't have the same energy and you don't have the same patience to stay in the work. So I think that it's something good.
Exactly, and that is to protect the woman, right?
Hmm.
However, from the business standpoint, use one to rest for 3 months, which is the labor permit. Typical maternity leave is usually for 3 months, almost in every society that I know, right? Some days more or some days less, but normally it's 3 months. And then you need to find paid leave, right? Is maternity paid leave. You still pay the lady for 3 months, and you need to hire another person for those 3 months.
Mhm.
Um, well, strictly speaking, is fair. I mean, yes, it's fair, absolutely fair. But for the company, is one a little bit more expensive to have a woman that is going to get pregnant and then she goes on maternity leave for 3 months than to pay a man. I don't mean to say that that is good or more convenient. It's just a little bit more expensive because they have to pay 3 additional months. That's simple
Yeah, yeah.
math, right?
Hmm.
Of course, if somebody tells me, you know what, we're not going to give your daughter or we're not going to give your mother maternity leave because you think that it's not good business, well, they say, no, wait, my daughter is my daughter or my mother is my mother, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But talking with strict numbers is a bit better for a businessman to hire a man than to hire a woman only for this concept. What do you think of this, Mitch? Are there any exceptions, situations, or maybe what do you think about this?
Well, that's true. Mm, well, but as I said, I think that's the principal reason that the nomos years ago, decades ago, that they used to do and not give the work for women. But I think it's something also related that the things tend now to be more expensive and we are so many now and they need in some cases more hand work hand worker and they need they needed more employees and they don't need more men. I don't know.
I didn't. I don't understand exactly. I understand what you're saying, but what is exactly what you mean by that? There is more necessity of men. There is more necessity of workers, or how is
I
that, Mitch?
mean,
Can you elaborate?
they were more necessity of workers, or maybe was related that they fight women to get work also, because there's also be a debate that the women, not all women want to get married, and they want to work by herself to maintain herself, but they can't work at that ages. Then that's also the fight for the rights, the women rights, and they also get the right a part of both work in almost any places. Then I think it's more liberation from them.
Yeah, well, I agree, and I am sure I totally convinced that women have just the same capacity as men, exactly the same, or sometimes more in some fields. Yeah. Um, well, okay. So things have evolved. I think they have evolved quite a bit, but we still have some challenges, right? Women are more, they are given better jobs, better salaries, better conditions. The maternity leave, I even if I'm maybe advocating for the businessman, in reality is negligible what you give women for these 3 months compared to the profit that businesses make. Profits are huge. So 3 months for a woman that's been 5 or 10 years in a company is nothing. So it's fair, it's very good, it's convenient. It raises the morale of the company. They say, "Oh, the wife of this lady is getting pregnant. She's gonna have a baby. She's gonna go on maternity leave 3 months. That's fantastic. That makes people happy. They don't become, oh, I'm gonna spend 3 months for nothing. No, no. That's so. In reality, I totally agree with you. However, Mitch and Mickey. However, there are some challenges. Some issues have not been resolved. The question is, which issues have not been resolved yet. Resolved yet. What do you think, Mickey, Mitch?
Mm,
Which are pending?
well, there are so many issues that have not been resolved yet. But for example, I think that there are
Maybe.
some values that
Okay.
uh, are being a little bit, how do you say that? Forget or forgot, and some
Forgotten.
values. Yeah, some values that, for example, my parents have or my grandparents have too. I think that now in the actuality it's been a little bit. We are losing that. For example, now the people, I think that is not too respectful with the others, and we can see in young people. And for example, my parents say that didn't happen in their times or in their grandparents' time. So probably we're losing some values.
So people are not too respectful now as they used in the past. But when you say some people, which people? Young people, older people, all the people, kids, and who and why? So I agree with you, Miki. I think exactly the same. As a father, as a teacher, as a social man, I totally agree with your part of what you're saying. But who do you identify that is not being too respectful? Or Mitch, I don't know if you agree with Mickey.
For example, the last Christmas dinner, uh, we have a cousin. I think that he has uh, 8 or 9 years old, and he has a brother. They're like middle brothers because they don't have the same dad, but I listened to their conversations and was like, oh my god, how a kid of this age could say things like that, because were things that, at least for me, when I had their age, I never imagined, and they were saying like something normal. And Mitch was there, but I think that she didn't hear that.
No, no,
But that surprised me in a bad way, nor in a good way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And for example, I think that is for the same because now we have access to everything. For example, now the kids from 5 years old, there are so many kids, and now they have cell phone or they have iPads or they have something to with access to internet. And I think that we have this access to a lot of information, a lot of uh, disinformation too. I think that is something that
right. Well, I am impressed. Of course, I'm sorry, I'm not impressed. I fully sympathize and agree with what you're saying, Mickey. And what do you think, Mitch? Before I say what I want to say, what do you think about what Mickey just said? Have you seen this in other
no.
people, other places? Maybe not only kids, but youngsters, adolescents, maybe adults. What do you think?
Well, as a kid, they have a when the as well and of any human they have the first years are the most important to learn about life and everything in general, and they gonna absorb all the things that they hear, look, and yeah, hear and look. And if they have their parents as an example of hear some kind of bad words, and also the parents also has the fault, a part of say that bad words with not limitation, but more I think it is that they don't tend to care so many about the children, and they give them a device, a mobile device, and the kid is free to do whatever they want. And we know there's not a secret that the internet there's a lot of but content that it's not really good for children. And as I said, they absorb everything that they heard and look. And if an internet, the most content that they are, it is adult jokes, sets content that they going to learn that, and then going to they don't going to relationate it as something bad. And even if the parents don't put them and stop, there's the thing, there's the consequences that the Mickey heard that night.
Yeah. Yeah, so what you're saying basically, and I agree with you, is that parents are to blame. It's the parents' fault, right? So we're not going to blame society. We're not going to blame the teachers. We're not going to blame. We blame the parents at first. Do you agree, Mickey?
Yeah, completely. I think that is for the same because probably the parents are tired or are working, and it's like, yeah, get distracted with that, and they give a cell phone or they give the TV or an iPad, whatever, a tablet.
Why do you have a kid and if you don't want to care of him?
Hmm?
Yeah, well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Let me tell you something. I think it is not only kids who are suffering from this
Oh no, it's everyone.
evolution of the. Exactly,
Mhm.
No, it's
exactly.
everyone,
Everyone, yes.
but kids are more tend to, as I said, the first years are the most important to know about everything about life and this world. They observe more things. We know some concepts, yeah, but I we know that saying that kind of comments that Mickey heard from them, it's not something good telling in public, even less if you don't have the confidence with them, less if you're a kid
Yeah.
and you don't know the
Let
consequences
me
of that.
Yeah, well, let me share a secret with you guys, and it's something that causes me some sorrow, really, some kind of sadness, or sorrow, yeah, some sorrow, or some a little bit of sadness too. I see adults, and I don't mean to say carpenter, which is a honorific position. I mean, every job has honor, is honorific, right? It's not that being a carpenter is bad and being a politician is good. No, what I mean is that is a profession that has not the cliche of a doctor, a lawyer, an attorney, an
Mhm.
engineer, etc., etc.
Mhm.
But it's not that. People with good level of instruction, well, just coming back from the school where I'm going to start teaching, right, which is a good school, and you see in the teachers lounge the teachers talking, right, and you see the teachers, you hear the teachers, you say, how can it be these are the teachers that are going to teach the kids not to say bad words, and the teachers with words like this,
Hmm.
Mhm.
right, like right, I say, what, in loud voice, not, hey Mickey, what, no, loud voice, saying words like this. I say, wow,
Yeah.
this is a teacher who is going to teach kids, and talking. It's not that I don't know the words. I have seen the words. I went to high school too, etc. And it's not that I am dramatic. Oh, he cannot stand about. No, yes, of course I know all the words. But if I proclaim to be a teacher, I'm going to be teaching students not to say bad words, and I am saying them loud voice, like if I am preaching the gospel, right? I say,
Yeah.
well, how can it be? I
Mhm.
think there is a reason. What do you think is the reason, Mickey Mitch? But I'm going to tell you what the reason I think is. Why do you think even adults, not only the words in itself, but vulgar comments out of with no class? There were ladies there, female teachers too, and they were making some comments that I would say I would not make these comments with my cousins, female cousins, if I had them. Even if I had was very close to them, or I don't have sisters. But if I had sisters, I wouldn't make those comments with my sisters, and they make these comments with female teachers, and the female teachers, they laugh, they say, ha, ha, ha. I say, how can it be? Maybe I'm from the old generation, but what do you think about this? Am I Probably I am exaggerating, right, a little bit.
No, no. Um, I don't know. It's a good question. Mm, Probably it's for the same because um, like everything's changing. The world is changing. For example, the music that we hear now, the most popular music, if you hear a song of reggaeton or of Bad Bunny and you pay attention to the lyrics, you'll say, "Oh my God, why the people is dancing this song or is singing this song?" So I think that we are like normalizing those things, and probably that's the issue because now we seem like it's something normal.
Well, you're saying you're introducing a very important word, Mickey, and I would like to add another word which is not only normalizing it, but they how is this word? You they romant. How is the word in English? Is you
Romanticism?
romant? Yeah, is it the word romanticize?
Romanticizing,
You romanticizing?
romanticizing.
Is this a word? Right. I think this is
Romantic?
it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make something look nice, epic, like some commercials make of drugs, right? They
Mm-hmm.
say some movies, some series, they romanticize the hell or that you're in the drug business. So they normalize it or they romanticize it. I think there is another word, but well, okay, let's use these ones for the moment. And that's true. That's very true. That's very important. People make people make these things look normal, and I think that's the first part of the problem, right? Ah, it's okay. Well, I'm saying big words. Ah, it's all right. Well, believe it or not, when my girls were young, they were like 4 and 8. That is 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years
Mm-hmm.
ago or 16 years ago. Yeah, six. Sophia is 21 now, so she was like 5 or 4. So 17 years ago, we went to a restaurant and there were a couple of kids, like 3 or 4 kids, speaking huge bad words like this. And I had to stand up and tell them, "Hey, kids, please, my daughters are there. Could you please lower the voice or start using all different words?" And they were blushing, they were red. I was not offensive, I was not yelling, I was trying to be as polite as possible. But I told them,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, kids, can you please lower down or use other vocabulary or whatever, please, 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 because my daughters are very young and and they did it. They were very reasonable and they, oh, I'm sorry, this and that. Because obviously it's not because they are bad people. It's only that mm,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they think that this high class, or I don't know what people think. What do you think about this, Mickey?
Um, yeah, of course. Say bad words doesn't mean that you're a bad person or something like that. But like you said, now we tend to see this like normal. For example, in the schools, I think that the majority of the people of people there is gonna say, unfortunately, but it's true. I think that say bad words and say a lot of things, and you like teacher, for example, the example that you gave to us that the teachers were saying bad words is like, oh my god, if you like teachers saying bad words, how you can say to the students, don't say bad words, you know? So probably if they see like these examples, it's like,
Exactly,
well, what's the problem if you do the same?
exactly. I think it was Mitch or was you, Mickey, who once a few lessons ago said, I mean, do what you preach, right? Do what you preach. Do you agree with this quote, Mickey? Walk the talk or do what you preach.
What is
In
the
other
means
words,
of bridge?
preach, predicar.
Hmm.
Practicar lo que predicas, right? More or less that is the meaning of this word. Practice what you
Yeah.
preach, right?
Hmm.
Practice. So that's what you were saying, right, Mickey?
Yeah. Hmm.
How, how can I tell my students to keep good language if I'm yelling and cursing, all right? If I'm cursing right and left, how can I be an example, right? And I think Mitch said it very clearly and very right a while ago, right? You interactions with the world. And geez, that's not always easy because it's very nice, nice to preach, nice to preach, right? People should do this, people should do that, but then to advocate to
Yeah.
advocate to what you say is not always easy, right?
Yeah.
Teacher,
Yes, Mitch.
sorry for this question, but today the class was 1 hour and a half.
No, I think just 1 hour, but I think I extended myself a little bit. Let's. Yeah, I was about
These
to
are
tell you
these are
that.
already 1 hour and a half.
Oh, okay. Well, we got some extra discussion because the conversation, as usual, is very interesting.
Yes,
But
teacher.
well,
Thank you.
let's choose another day for the next classes, please. If you agree with that, when would it be a good
Uh,
day to have another class?
Tomorrow will be great, teacher.
Yes.
I don't know if you
Tomorrow,
can.
okay? Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow we finish again at 2, so I'll try to come back as soon as possible, and maybe 2:30 we can have our class tomorrow.
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
It's perfect. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, so see you tomorrow, Mitch, Mickey. Take care and have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. Then take care.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye,
Take
teacher.
care. You too. Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Bye,
See
Good
you
teacher.
tomorrow.
afternoon. Take
Bye.
care.
Good
Bye. Bye,
afternoon.
Mitch, Mickey. Take care. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.